I've realized that no Christmas would ever be complete without a review of what has to be one of the most iconic animated Christmas specials of all time that has, garnered a lot of audiences from generation to generation because of its quotability, its wonderful atmosphere, its really memorable story, and even its titular character. The one that needs no introduction at all, Doctor Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which first aired on CBS on December 18th, 1966. It was directed and produced by Chuck Jones. His co-producer was Ted Geisel, also known as Dr. Seuss, with music by Albert Hague and Eugene Podany, and starring the voices of Boris Karloff, Thurl Ravenscroft, and June Foray. Now, I caught this Christmas special ever since I was a little boy on Cartoon Network, and I remembered really loving it. I even had the original book by Dr. Seuss, and I practically read it whether it was Christmas or not, as a kid. And through time, I actually grew to love it even more and more, and pretty much enjoyed the hell out of it. And it was just one that has left me leaving a lot of great memories when I was a kid, and one that is pretty much the definition of childhood nostalgia. So let's really see what made this film really iconic for generations to come. Starting with the story. Now, the story for a 28-minute Christmas special, I felt it was really well done and really well executed in terms of its premise. Yes, of course, the whole Scrooge trope began with, the very person who began it, Ebenezer Scrooge from A Christmas Carol. But I felt like the Grinch really popularized it because of it. And even we would also have these tropes known as the Grinch to someone who doesn't really like to have a lot of fun, or someone who's very much a spoiled sport, and all that. So with the story, I have to say that it's very simple, but one that has a lot of charm, a lot of heart, and just the right amount of innocence, and even the right amount of humor, and a lot of memorable moments, really catering to a lot of people. The animation, what more can you say about Chuck Jones? I've admired this gentleman ever since I first saw his direction of Tom and Jerry. Yes, it was basically my first exposure to Tom and Jerry, all thanks to this gentleman. He has a very interesting style of animation, especially for television, and I've actually grown to like it because of all the details, all the colors, and just everything that really makes it, pop and be vibrant. He has his own style of vibrancy, and it's really evident through this Christmas film. It's very bright and colorful, with a lot of great details being used, and it's just great all around. The music, it's also very memorable, especially with The Who's Christmas Carol, and even the ever-iconic You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch song. Just total classic. The music used and even the songs are very memorable, and one that is guaranteed to be listened to from time to time. The characters are actually really lovable and still hold up to their lovability to this very day. Now, when we first see the Grinch, he starts off being mean and very much someone who likes to ruin things and even ruin the holidays. But I won't spoil what happens because I'm sure you already knew it from the top of your head. But I guess what he goes through was actually quite heartwarming in the end. So he's a definitely iconic character, and one that everyone seems to remember. With his dog Max, he's pretty much the opposite of the Grinch, with him being more innocent, more likable, and just a gentler soul. He really does play well off of the Grinch, and you could really see that those two make a really great team. And then we get to the character of Cindy Lou Who. Now, she's mainly there for just the scene where she's woken up by the Grinch, but she's still a pretty good character on her own. But really, what more can I say? The Grinch pretty much steals the show. It's his movie. And even though the other characters do support him and give him a good amount of screen time, I have to say that the Grinch pretty much was the one that really made this Christmas special work. Not to mention the voice acting done by Boris Karloff as a speaking voice, and even the narration, and even with Thurl Ravencroft's really firm, dark, rich, basso profondo voice, which is very iconic in the You're a Mean One, Mr. Grinch song. With Boris Karloff, it's no surprise that this gentleman has been very well known in a lot of monster films, so really seeing him portray this character very well still manages to really hold up to this very day. And even with June Foray as Cindy Lou Who, she does a pretty good job with that as well. So overall, I really have to say that How the Grinch Stole Christmas is definitely very iconic in terms of its memorability and heart. And it's no surprise that I will give this film a well-deserved 5 out of 5 stars. It really is a great film, wrapped up in a neat little package that you can pretty much show to anyone, no matter how old they are. Well, that's all for now. Be sure to tune in later where I take a look at the live-action adaptation of How the Grinch Stole Christmas, known simply as The Grinch. So, until then, see you later, everybody.